ene eduno enan no emu nenomo ena dom dodo a womo ewo mrahye bedwefie ekire se womo wogidie mapa se budget statement ya Ken Oforiata obekenkan eyade se ebeso Ganafo enipa wabra mrahye bedweni ema dehye a womo ewo Doma East abato mpeso so wonimonyamfo Paul Chum Berima ene nsemtwefo ekasa ena wode tu dwase wo budget statement yimu yade se womo ebehwe na tax ahodo a edasa ne 2 pants anase amoasene eso no womo ebetete so
and so I'm sure obviously it may be a good call. I mean they are looking out for their business and I think a government's job is to make sure that they create an enable environment for businesses to thrive. So if it is something that is within the remit of the finance ministry and is going to enhance the development of the country, I'm sure that it's going to feature in the budget. The aspect of the budget that for me I'm excited about is how we are tackling climate change and how we as a country we are faring on that. Like obviously sometimes you drive around and you see some cars, the kind of emissions, CO2 that they produce on the streets is quite worrying. And also if you see some of our industries, we don't have heavy industries in Ghana, but a little that we do have, I mean some really do produce a lot of CO2s into the system, which is
wakasa wie ye ena dom kuma womo so ewo mrahye bedwefie ede tu dwase womo de womo ewo gidie mapa te budget statement a Ken Oforiata nyame adom ekina wo be kenkan ede ama Ganafo no enye statement a ebetimi aso Ganafo eni omo so sem no ebini.
The Minister of Finance at the Finance Committee, and the minister indicates that he intends raising additional 11 billion. That's about 1% of GDP. But we have told him that we think that the people of Ghana have been taxed so much. The tax burden already is very, very high. And so it will be inappropriate to come with new taxes. Rather, the minister should look at cost cutting in terms of expenditure. The issue is not just about revenue. I've heard a lot of people talk about revenue. Yes, it's good to raise revenue, but it's also important that you look at the expenditure side as well. And so we're still waiting for the budget tomorrow. We are poised, but personally, as a member of parliament, I think that it's improper, it's unacceptable to further come up with new taxes and increase the tax burden on the ordinary Ghanaian.
For finance has no option tomorrow than to embark on a difficult mission of expenditure cuts. Therefore, don't see growth accelerating or growth of the economy being fast-tracked. There would be huge expenditure cuts. There will be attempt and effort by the Minister for Finance and Government to make debt sustainable, an impossibility to. His biggest news to the Ghanaian...
I say we should cut costs. And if I say that we should cut costs,
the biggest news Ken Oforiata could have for Ghanaians tomorrow would have been to announce that he has reached an agreement with external creditors in order that he will be able to save some $10.5 billion out of the $29 billion external debt. That will give him some fiscal space.
The last budget of this administration, and I will be asking it's 2024 election year. So, and previously now, expectation is a taxes are much more money. Abandon Bernard so Ben some kakra. Ama nema mu ayama atimamfo na chezatamaboama party netimi atmedi nkunim 2024. Unfortunately, obi anu say anya the aban pe samre and obetimi aye because here IMF ewa. And I believe say it is going to be like 2016, the last year of NDC administration na IMF na anya the na ope na outimi no.
Ebusia ida so awonsem kronwa mo yenkwa homa no so ne ne owura Benjamin Nsia ya wakwadare wosikasam ene ne ntwetwe mu wasanim de ewa anyima hode ne ensem ho ye ne ntwetwe nkomo na ye misa ne senya me ya adom ochena ye Ken Oforiata budget ya wo bekenkan emrahye bedwamfie no sen ena ne bobre ene ne su ebekwa kosi aye mira wadama otimenkan nwumre ya ma adwuma akwa ba o
ya mini aba
Apombo ko de
nyame adom ho ye
Yedobo de ase edase anwumre so ene adage a wanyama ye ne yahwefo ene yetiefo nyame ya adomo a wochena de na wo hwe ni mu se emfiempino ene aduonu nan akọ homesika no ebe firi mu aba
medase de mi hwe dem chane se de di kan wo se aban etimi ekire faako a obenyasika edi atia kadodo na ewo enyam kanea anase energy sector no hono. There should be a very precise and specific source of fund to cater for energy sector debt because the America say all the sources of funds are yeditia energy sector debt no can I say a collapse. For example, if you look at ESLA today, ESLA PLC is underperforming bonds no cry restructure B. Nti amari say no muntimi and raise new bonds. Nti honum sika no akoloko ohwe aban cash waterfall mechanism model idea si ho se yedi tuatua enyinam kania ho kabino so no there is no full implementation of it, and as in fact there is no appropriate implementation of it because government uses part of that particular scanner for other commitments and other priority areas. In the 2024 budget be come was aban to me try and say enyinam kania kana eda ho no almost $2 billion no was about to me train for kwa obenyeska and as is kind of why ye debate sa kana because one man try ho no mana bema one yedi on kanyina energy sector no they become very agitated and maybe and which also means that 2024 no na dum so asanya because I always maintain nano so tie Honorable Minister of Energy, he said somewhere that because of the lack of supply of gas. And sometimes it's not even the lack of gas, it's because we owe some of these energy sector entities. If we don't pay, they are not ready to deliver these products to us. And here was about to clear. The next part, I'm better make budget is that I've heard John Jinapo. Honorable John Jinapo say buying was all cutty expenditure, yes, but no clue say buying between cutty expenditure unless say buying better targeted or no any machinery and as a consumables. Say expenditure na buying between I be a fountain so china onya kwanya may expect to say Minister of Finance no be cutty a lot of expenditure on goods and services and also cut a lot of expenditure on government machinery. Because the basana it boosts certain confidence. Say abayano, ahochena yine kumuno no so absorb bintino or charming expenditure. So, but for example, expenditures like statutory payments, abayin to me expenditures like interest payment, abayin to me even today, my home say base pay crown is starting by 23%, which also means that tomorrow compensation and I say a katia expenditure and also a cost. So, what I think government should be able to do tomorrow is also to look at or no one the government machinery, the Jubilee House, or musica dimu, some of the ministries, even the government itself must also look at maybe laying off some of the ministers. Rationalize your budget and also make sure that there are certain commitments to other sectors of the economy. But other commitment there, interest payment, statutory payments, government cannot do anything about it. Even wages, also with me, now the next part I meet here is that tax. You see, tax but we are not using taxation as we are supposed to use. Taxation is a policy instrument, not only a revenue instrument. Even though taxation, MI revenue, no. And also, taxation idea buying it me the CSE nipa drain FBB. So, say buying persevere ubedi bibi too much. Government can impose certain taxes so that no plan or ever more adena would because okota ubiti tax. But here, your tax donor is for revenue, and that is also bad. I think government needs to rationalize even taxation. Enti
senyame ya adumo china ekoba ne se owura ke no foriata gina mra so bedwafie na wode eto foforo ebe pii de wo ho no so a ebe yonwanwa. It depends on eto or the bachna. For example, mi makase eto bi ti se wona otwetwa nua a nua no
We need to make sure that based on the political pay principle, which is a policy of cutting down the felling down of trees, and as a declining felling down of trees, the tax alcohol, even community mining, because community mining even cocoa production. The tax alcohol to community mining. So and global mining, there are taxes a bit more pushy, and these are environmental taxes, they are done everywhere. A bit the tax alcohol, but the tax are buying the better so ama consume and watching it. I think it's a bad tax, and government should not consider it tomorrow.
Dear a tour and I would just say a water da a buying a free honoma and get me a boama or man for a comaha one can cry.
A tour, you see, so tour to be it hampers production. Growth Emma system. For example, some of the import levies, it stops like production or it declines production. That import levies need are buying was offering so kakra because Juma phone for be or chrome hompers from crap, they may be the back at be to Juma Emma Mabunya Juma. The moment you put a lot of taxes on them, it increases their cost of production and also even stops that dream of creating jobs for the youth. Until what are buying import taxes, maybe levies, maybe free. So that is one. The second part is that even I COVID mo. They say COVID the term. So COVID living was buying not only free. So because they say COVID in the so I don't even know the purpose for which the tax has been introduced. In America, say Krumano, you get tax because of revenue, but they get tax because of policy. So the COVID as a policy in tax and say COVID the term. If you can even direct that tax to other areas, now buying. Another tax I may krana are buying a year free is the financial sector. Some of the taxes we introduced during the COVID time, financial stability tax and other taxes. Perhaps to say are buying because some of the financial sector, most of them are in serious distress, and they are in distress because of some of these minor taxes which add on to certain costs in that sector. I was say are buying a free so, but I buy free so no na was say buying for being swap. One is that government must be categorical in taking measures of it media to amount for corruption. Because we lose almost $3 billion annually through corruption. It's a record said how much get 3 million from IMF, 3 billion from IMF, but we lose as much as $3 billion through corruption in a year in Ghana. I will say it me for coin so a bit major corruption. There are people evading taxes. There must be certain policy and revenue allocated or not income allocated to those policies to clamp down on tax evasion, which is also a major challenge in Ghana. We lose almost $5 billion through tax evasion in Ghana. And also I will say so your budget we need to even redefine our budget framework. Your budget framework is very colonial. It's not development oriented. Your budget is very historical budget. Most of the things that Finance Minister Bekano 2017, as far back 2017, the Finance Minister is likely to mention things they did. But a budget reviews the previous year, the current year, and the next year. But year budget, 2017, and way banking sector collapse 2017. We dwell too much on history and not the future. Into your budget, and I will say even you're developing a new framework. The budget will be more futuristic, targeting 3 key areas: job creation, poverty reduction, and bridging inequality. And I think that will help all of us.
What about to a sanitary pad? So so rent a few, and I know here.
Oh no, here me want to no but it's also critical because you can't tax nature. But nature and a back. Also, tax you had hardly. But you see, government's intention of this tax is that Krumano produce a bioha. And you say you produce a bioha, ubi krabia gramanonia ba, it was a tax, which may be good, but this alone says, Kruma dieno, kamanado dona twa. You have to reduce taxes on the importation of their raw materials. That is one. You have to make sure that or more credit facility, loan interest on loan and cost. Kruma amount for it almost 40% on loan. Measures by a central bank are put in place obema loan interest no abafum because the entire kroma de no boyedin Ghana for no is because of the cost of production. So what we say we impose import duties on sanitary parts so that a best hold to the importation now you rely on kroma de na also ma kroma de nefu se kroma de nefu a obi akra ni oba import aba o import aba na tax ni su krana because o kro de nefu ntino Ghana for do na beto o kro de na obi oba import oba bi import mba. So taxation must not only be revenue what dream o pese o de correct bibi o mamu ba ate ekroma de bibia e sikape ye di pesca ba o di pesca no na o di amon for do na e kwa wonkyerem
yo won sama e twa to o fatu dwa na fe yemfa enkomo yinsi ebrenti
me sama me di twa so ne say me o man no in 2015 e bra e ko dum so mu no ye economy ye lose almost 5 billion Ghana cedis at that time 2024 me pese be ko dum so mu Ghana buying yes no na o maye hu ba bia e ko fasika free e bi etu anyinam kania fo no
eno ano no yeda se enwumre ene adaje awanya e de amayen owura Benjamin Nsia wo ye economic expert wa kwadar pa sikasam ne ntwetwe mu e ba anyima hoden ne ensam so a wa bene mu ono ena yene no atwetwe enkomo yenti nyame ya admo ochna ene nyina ada kwan so owura keno foriata obegyina emrahye bedwafie na afi emfiempe no ene aduonu nan yakɔhomasika no wakeka ho nsam ede atre yemfiri so na yemfa ye ne nkyeremu ewo ensam foforo so otumfo se tutu ababi otoso mienu ya santahene na wode hwehwe bi ahwehwe so ya wo kyerɛ sɛ was jijiji sika na oboabo sika no na wode esi konfo anoche teaching hospital G na watumi aye ne yie na no enadom kuma wo mrahye bedwam se na ma opiafo na wo nkwaso esanse wei hwehwe papa esanse abaye atusue wa bomi fita duku akyerɛ asanteman na sɛ otumfo a wode ne asase se wo ye konfo no chiaban asabea yi a ne kwan so a
otumfo na mo a wotu ye okyerɛ sɛ ne so adehunu ne sɛ wo pe $10 million na wode ayensiesie konfo no chiaban asabea ho ewukumase Afia Brempomaa Hine aduonum nan ene wote konfo no chiaban asabea ne yehwɛ ogye eni ayasa ya wode ama omanfo a ano edo so pa enti na ewo se wo yensiesie wo ho na akoso asomanfo sompa eno ena mpanyifo kyerɛ sɛ besi ne efiri bra wote ayasa bia ne de ensiesie papa bia ntumi nkɔ ho na de papa se nso de nya de a wotra ase am na senti ena otu anamoyi abra woni nsemtwerɛfo kasa no Techima North mrahye bedwani Elizabeth Ofosu Ajare ede tudwo se won de anya na wanwa se otumfo se tutu etu anamo bi ente se
don kitwa ye wo mrahye bedwam ene ye se yewura otumfo ose tutu ababio yeda nase nana nkwaso se ode initiative aba a obehwe ama konfanoche aye krabehwe a ofre no heal konfanoche Yenyina yebekaye a konfanochi yesi no 1954 na sa konfanochi a referral center for 12 out of the 16 regions ayewo HSN regions ya chemudunsia emudu mienu de ehɔ na opayaresa ekɔ nanimu a yede ba behwe nanso so ahwehwemu a kyerɛ sɛ wokɔ konfanochi ene aban ayaresa bia ewo ha no a routine maintenance ayedendenden 15% per ena omoye routine maintenance ekoba sa pe na kyerɛ ye healthcare system no ɛho ato chima kakra say Ghana foni gidie power health system no efise yewura akufuado onye ne sɛ ɔpɛ healthcare system ahwe
ensemi ho na edom kuma no ede ato aban ne mu se won hwenhwe nye de hianwi o ansa na waye de fata ayesa da ne de omanfo bebonditiri so wosan de tudwa se omanfo enfa won ho nhye anamontu papa otumfo se tutu asantahene wo tuemu obi anfa ne mo akakra wo emoa na ebasa apomde mapa ebefa ntema pefra ewo man mu
adan ne bebre na ye hospitals aisi ho wajai man is saying to say Afia Hospital Ayura Excellency John Dramani Mahama osi ya nka oye wie kura ya bona abesine e wa Ashanti region hwa nka o hye otumfo bompo say obesi 500 bed capacity children ward amano na wantumi anye e na nka Afia Hospital mpa Ayura Mahama ye o wie di ma no a say ɔte kɔkɔɔ so nka no beto ne kakra eno a wanye de ɔhyɛ ne bɔ no so a wanye enye no nko a la hospital nso a na esi ne ba bi kama a ɔno ade ne pedwiri guye abesi ne lafo yeje o majeje mu a ɔmo nkwala akra no ɔmo nya ba bi mfo ɔmo nkɔ hospital no ye hye aban sɛ ɔmfa American tentem na onye agenda 111 no so bebre no no ade na no aka na wahyehye ase enso me yakɔ sɛ uncompleted project ya ne dedodo ye ka kyɛn sɛ project de ɔhyɛ ase anya ne dan no esie na ɛyɛ fɛ ni wieye ɛne sɛ ɛbɛ ya manfo no benya ho mfasoɔ ɛna yɛpɛ enti ene ye sɛ Ewurakufo ado sɛ ɔmo ne homoden na saa hospitals ya abobɔ so yi ɔhwɛ na onye na onwie
Ghana mampanyini na nado danko Akufo-Addo e de atodwa so anhwe yi amfiempeno ne aduonu nan ya yewura mi omanmu aduane ho bɛyɛ de pa isansafi ensuo no atɔ ama atɔ de ani ho nyinaa de bia ka ho na wo hwɛ akosombo dam nso a wo mu bi ensuo ma ne fefa afansase ne mfudeɛ ya asabra ye kasai asase nyantam ya nan kaye afuo asase ye de ye afuo ensuo agye aboso no ne nyinaa ka ho bi nti and wo si the people akyerɔmanfo sɛ efiempino ane aduonu na ye de anim de anhwe ye akomba ene besi ɔman mu.
The matter cannot just be about climate change because there are other matters that are of equal significance. In the last 3 months, Ghana has faced extraordinary rainfall patterns that we have never experienced in our history before. It has led to flooding in the spillage of our dam and to flooding of critical food growing areas of our country. The soil is being destroyed in many parts of the country that is going to make replanting of food and the reuse of those lands a difficulty for us. If we don't take some very, very dramatic actions now, food supply in the years down the road, in 2, 3, 4 years' time, is going to be a major issue for the country. So that, for instance, is a matter of tremendous concern for us. How do we mobilize the capital to be able to deal with the food crisis that is on the horizon in Ghana? So the multiplicity of the issues confronting us also require a multiplicity of responses. But at the heart of all of those responses is a very simple ancient issue: money. Yes, it doesn't change from century to century, from generation to generation. Access to capital and to money.
Afe yenko North Tongue anase South Tongue ma empotem honum na DC anasa bankrach panyine ya wo South Tongue owura set agbe kwasi agbe wode atodwa se efiri bra akosombo dam wo bieye ema nsuyire eba mpotem honum no nyame anim no kuranie bronsamatiko enioma de omanya bi pa omanfo ya abeye wonum adoye enya ansam ketwa na sese how pa wo honum no eye sika wode betofa nwo egu kamu na wode enioma no wachinchin nkurase achicha ma omanfo enya bie.
Sa atrenchemi a esi ye ewo framante mu eviarefo biomuko bie akosombo damo a enya ensinsoso ewo framante mu na ebeyese na hochi kakranie ena South Tongue District Assembly no enya relief items I will say omode ekoma adehia ensue enyomoso ensinsoso wo abra DC ya owo eye South Tongue apato empesoso nyafo se kwesi agri enes adwofo ekasa no nesimo de tudwa ekyerese eniema ne de ababeka assembly no ensanemu adekronti enam so ade hyensa enka niema ne se akasika omode beto fangodi egu ahyen a omode niema ne begum akoma ade hye no saa sika no ebesi eneyi omode nsam akwakoma nadwo ene afesovia refose enka sika no mo fambra no mo fitimi enfanto fango no engu hyen mu na mo fa niema no enkoso nyade a saa sika no ababedro no nti enam so abesi eneyi eniema na egu so egu assembly nensam ode tudwa no eni
no assembly we have to raise that thing. What are you doing? The money to rent, hire a car and send it to them. I tell you. Oh, that's a fact. That's the fact. I can't hide anything from you. You need money to fuel the cars and send the item to the people.
That is the only issue.
That's the issue.
And
that's the only
issue.
Hungry. We don't have money.
So why don't you ask them to come?
We ask them. I've been asking the VRA, the NADMO. I've been asking them. They should give us something. As of today, I receive only 20,000 Ghana cedi. We have said it already. There are times there. It's a fact. It's a fact. So that is why it's happening. We need money to need support financially. Yes, that's why it's happening.
Ebusefo yento so na yenko epoye mantam emo na edom anoboboafo ema NDC amanyoko no krabata we epoye mantemo eye owura Richard Etonam Nyako ene yensem twereni Kofi Michelle atwetwen komo amonam so ato amane NDC amanyoko ma ewo suhum ene ne mpotemo se won munya adwumaden moa ma emfiempino ene aduonu nan abato no enkunimdi abotre ne NDC amanyoko ne dia
we mantemo NDC amanyoko no de eto omanfo nyina enimu se apredi ebraso so obesore aye adwuma waka na waboa ma NDC amanyoko no etimi abenben mu emfiempienu mienu ene aduonu nan party no bebuno dom frefo abrante Richard Etonam Nyako ene wo kire se ebraso se NDC mabuno ye wopo mantemo nyina bekeka won titinu wo mu a ewosuhum empotemo ho na Ghana emabuno dodo no ano won hyebre ene won haw no NDC enim enusu a ebebeto eniti wo nye de obeye piara na won ho kire ya wo my Ghana akomusa amre on fa NDC amanyoko no emra bemu na wonyere won hu se mampani dada Yewura John Dramani Mahama soso NDC wade hunu ya odi ababetu musu obeboa ma economy na ya adwuma 24 hours no don hwere aduonu nan ya yentena se kra no eno betumi abemu NDC amanyoko no beba abemu mfimpi mienu ne aduonu nan no yerei e kire se eno eyebutaye ya esiwe ni so pa
jumadia shasia no nina appointed to the NDC bidding to our next elections, you know. Okay, participation from branch youth organizers and Hodwa and buy and need a youth working committee. But on Mojuma will be supporting them. Intimate funds from them. Branch youth organizers, but the thing in the theatre, you know, they say the person your party is original brand. Mebuno ni DNA. Now, to me, and Kwaba 2024, and from community NDC in general, President Mahama Eko, Jubilee House. Now, Adrian Prince and so Eko Parliament. So, we are one of the targeted seats for NDC going into the next elections. Now, this time around, whatever the strategy is, whatever the opportunity is, we chance on it to make sure that you bet my papa could do parliamentary seat no and the presidential.
Party ni drum tene ye wo poe mantemo Yewura Mark Oliver Evo ono so toa so ya wo kire se sabre de NDC aboa no ho sie pa ya mabunu ye wo poe mantemo no wa yentete kama e de ama wo nyina wada wo ho so a wo twen se mfimpi mienu ne aduonu na wo beka abomu ata aba kire ho se ntampe ngoma wabo adwuma e de etru NDC ku no de aba behwe nkwa
sa ekuno na profumo ya to the youth working committee na sa youth working committee no omo branch organizers no and the baba be adwuma ezu omo baba mechi mo adwuma na enye omo nemo na e baba be adwuma ezu anunti e bia na ba nya kwenya kasa bio but working committee na ya pa omo mutimi kwa obi branch sa o ka ko ye adwuma o be kwa branch organizer no oni mo hwe ezu iti omo nemo e baba be kabo aye adwuma na sade obo wodi kan ye no tumie no aben ye wi o hwe MPP for obo ekoi koya bukokoyi Dr. Baumie ana ye nyina ye kensa ono ano be kwakoyi no na aye edije se edaba NDC
Vice Chairman yo working committee so Yewura Kwaku Nketia etu party fo nyina afo se sebi etu owe enyetigina a na etu ye enti obesere won se wo mo ede won agemu so obeye adwuma won ede won abo afode se obeso ma party no akwa animu no se toda no hia mo a won se obeba bekọ won boa se be ya obeyi wakoma mu fan aye adwuma ama party no etumi enya nkonimdie
Misramo akonyato embanyifo ahia delegate decide your platforms no some many phone of platforms so many cassette you know yana ya platforms so ekoko ana ya platforms so no your party platform do na ya party ma o ya party ma ti ya platforms so ni ekoko ko a enya bi before na eko cassette ya cassette ya ya ho ni cassette ya ho na eduma ba mu no man so ya ko ka eduma no a on na ko ti ano enya party no enti say ya we bi say you ko na mo play adia before they say no yes I can see and you party ma
Achim Swedro Mrashebejani Ora Kennedy Osenya Kon Ekasa so manfo bia sha said won set retene so sasa konwa no wadi a che en won fan to fom em obi foforo mra mefeni so no se a e de na mo pa kire sa no na de na mo keka aka ne sa no o my Ghana mu emre kunini na yede edi mra na se de dwuma e wo man mu no he fa ne atwro se obi tena se che na so manfo se wo no an wo mo pe no na wo tro abama no a nipa no e wo se wo de na kunwa e to fom wa bra emra ma no ho kwan kwan bia so wase omie mrashim constitution no mo na wonkyere no baabi a ya twere agu na so obiem na wanhunu di a ene na sankrofo no ka won ma no mpai so esansanya de akunwa no wode to wonne wokyera nso ko eka ho bie kopem se omanfo a ewon pesua no so ebeka sa fedie wamabre no
Apomudinanti awode ehhehye so ena Kennedy wosenya ko edito atimso adrefo nina animu se womo ababehye mu wo ho no se epoye mantem wo bia enhwe se wo betimi atai na chi se de beye na wasan so akwakogina se emahye bedwani na eyade ayama mra no meche 1992 constitution no ensi ho kwan se wo betimi agina na yato aba ede ama no ne mprenan esuo eno nti wode to atimso adrefo nina anim empanifo animu nina se womo hwe se wo betimi atai na chi no woba wobere se empuntu pa ebekoso ewo ho se ye wonu makwan se ye apomuden ho nsem ensuo sukudan ene ne ekika ho nina ne ebeboa wo manfo ene wono de wo ba be ya ma wono
ye constitution Ghana mamra no hefa ya tworo se wo ye MP na akotere chairman no asi ho minya hu se wo hu ba bi a ya tworo no saade ama me na se bi ni ho saade a na den na obi betra ho akatere se wakomye senti na sabe me manfo na to aba no ma me no on pese sankrofo go on pese o mo kire me manfo nse sebe omunim de omo ye ana ase de omunim de omo ye na ye ni MP fo a o makọ enwotwe ne nkuru nyina na omo no sebe omo manfo aka kire omo si fo a wakom yensa na owi adwuma me ya ha ne betube de ne ho akompare me ya take constituency adwuma MP Sabako obi abaye ne de obi ban kire me adwuma ma ye o eya atim so do constituency as a member of parliament from 2012 to obi pa on kan kire me say adwuma ma ye no oni ma ye adwuma ye pe obi antumi nne me nya adwuma ma ye no na say me free so kwa obi anu obetumi aye adwuma ase de ma ye no na adwuma na de na obaye dodo na ma ye no aye bebre oba constituency obi anim say na constituency na tie enene hwede aye na ye kwa ya nim bebrezi anim a ebeye nti afei na akwanya no aba na ye beye adwuma ne mo e de aboa no na obi se obi nsi so na ho na e kasa na me aba abrantie me wo ha o se ye mpa abrantie ni nsi from ne nkofa retiree ni amanimla aha anya pension seat o aha a serious seat achimso do seat no a very serious very important seat you need strong people so what you say you need people umbetumi aye adwuma no so far say mabọ me ho modern what you say you need somebody with energy your energy betumi atwa na say parliament no ya trans ni aye adwuma ene onya hwemfa ma obi za me kotra trans wa parliament a ami nya hwemfa ma achimso do ubananti ura ministry na akwa ha no akwa na akwa retiree na de ne ba ono obetumi aye sa de na me nka say oni ahoden ma adwuma no edene ana madwuma ma ye no ontumi nya you cannot do it so far so good ma ye adwuma nkasa dodo na abeka kire o mo pa musi fam na musa o abeka kire o adwuma ma ye nti so obi ti ne ba bi na onunu no ho no ka say wako 12 tc fam na obi na busu akonya ena obi aga say obi agoti enya busu akonya this is pure ye politics nti se me manfo na ni eje me ho se madwuma ma ye na so ani ena o ma me ya ada na ese me ko gina baabi na obi ma bi enhyehyɛ by constitution no amo nkyerɛ 1992 constitution ayi ba na ya kyerɛ sɛ o yɛ member of parliament na akɔ bi ensa ase for no bi ko ma hu bi sa ɛna ekati amon mo ne yodra ana reduce mo ne ɔsɛ mensa bo so mo ne ade ɛna asa be nkɔma bu Ghana mrasto because na okɔdodo no a so far no manya experience akasa next parliament kuyi mpanyinfo a wa reach mu a mo so mo nkɔ biom no a the first 4 seniors yɛbɛwɔ Eastern region a yɛkasa obi abɛte no I'm part of it.
Aimero Afia Kasiebo and Eguso Edesom Wono Udru Facebook my CTV GH. Menyina we so ehume kasie so enya boafo nkrato me ba de aka no ha me de besomo.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Islam is a religion of peace. Islam is a religion of humanity. We are in challenging times and people need solution to lots of life issues. That is why we bring to you Islamic Zone. On Islamic Zone, we discuss religion, family, health, the economy, and all other issues that matters to you. We have seasoned sheikhs and counselors to help us navigate through life on this program. Join me, Barikis Rashid Abbas, as I sit with my guests on CTV this and every Friday at 5 p.m. to discuss issues that matters to you.
Be thrilled, educated, and entertained. Teen Queen Ghana is here, showing this and every Saturday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. live on CTV, Ghana's #1. Powered by Ascoff Productions Limited, who gets to represent Ghana on an international platform come June 2024. Teen Queen Ghana, it's your time, own it.
Eden ene janka ebedie ehe ene wisia ebeda okuneni die eden ene woma ebedie wenti ena CTV yahye dwumedie sunko a yato no din se onnipa hiamoa ediba wakwemu eno te hia yen dwumedie so ene yebetena se na yakasa afa enjanka ho ewisia ho mobro wafo ho onebiefuo ho na fe yape kwan a yebetimi afa so ede abo mo hia me abena ewusiwa wo abra mede chiame ewo dwumedie yi eso onnepa hiamo ana hwan eni onibi kwafo.
Afia fama munyina kwa baba enyimre no Afia Kasiebo CTV so afei en waken ho a eda asem wakwa ba ye nto Kasiebo no so ne mo mekai wo se wo hwe e wo kasafo nyine so fie mu no uduru abefo ntete fidie no so a my CTV GH social media handles a wodo no nyina abo my CTV GH a Kasiebe pia ba onye bia hwe ye nto so na ye nkwa ye nim e wo ensem fofromo Owura Emmanuel Baba Mahama national president Emma Full Gospel Men's Fellowship International where the photo ato ne nua no mema ni mu se asem bi e kire wo so na ememe ne wo a eho hia se ukokopɛ moa ana se upe obi a ogine die na ususu wasem ho e kire no wo kire se mpempi no mema kasaso mu so na wo mene nsem gu ne mu ubehu ane se wafa homa ana so afa adredi ne hodom Nemom se emema ebetumi enyaza akoko oduro no na wonum ache wonum asem se de mata ye no a enka ebeboa ama mema edi nkwa ache
What international men celebrations full gospel men edihye so no wa kire se we ani de edikan kra no a wo ye bi e wo men Ghana mu ha ebekọ wiase afa na nyina adwumedie ne hyehye no se obehye mema enkran no hunu se enye yaw bia ene wo se bema wokokoje tito ho so sanse wo bo memu ha no mu se ya yakeka nsem bi e de atoto bema tri mu e ma onam yaw mu kra no a na adwene ye ne se wontimi emfe ne se emu bi hunu se ne yefunu ne ya Yera Emmanuel Baba ya wono ye national president kire se ebraso se mema dodo no hye wo ho akonfo sanse yaw bi ana asem bi ha no na wontimi mo ho wamfa nkyere obi na wo kokan ye begu na bema ka chense bema so na sabi wo yo ho so oba bema ene no maduro anwuno bema de wo bobo no aka asem bema nsinsuo mansa no aham saa be no a ene de ehye mema nkran a se yaw bi ene wonimu asem bi ne ha no ene wo so okakora no obi tunufo ana wo boa no na wotimi gyina ne na so na odi ne dwuma ya keka saa nsem ya e de ahye ne tirimu ama fedia koye ne fere ana se ehunu so okokan ye ba betwetwe no na eno ena Yera Baba kire se wanhwe yi na saa niema no yanhwe anka ho asem ema yenyi amfemfiri emema trimu na eno akoso di won trimu a ebe madane da nyina no mema bekoso ahye won ho akonfo sanse asem no hye ne trim ya wontimi mo ho wamfa nkyere obi miema na dwene wabra yemu na bem ana yemu anokumfo kra data wabra wotia asase so.
Men everywhere traditionally are the breadwinners, so we want to bring them alive to their economic and social responsibilities so that they can be very excellent breadwinners and also the priest in the home. We need the holding of hands of all denominations together. I believe society has recognized that men tend to suffer more from suicidal tendencies than suffer from the consequences of suicidal tendencies more than women. Women have that predisposition, but because the way of tending towards suicide are slower by the use of drugs, their doctors, medical personnel are able to retrieve some of them from the hands of them. But men tend to use violent means, guns and maybe instantaneous medications that can terminate your life, or jumping headlong from a story building. So those tend to precipitate our issue.
Penny Bako ya wono so edne mu nyambeta adwumede na chi wono so kyerɛkyerɛ sɛ ebraso sɛ ebeyi saa esu ne ban no ede efiri mu sanse ɛhyɛ enipa so titiriw ne mema ema koya obebre mu a wahwe ya abrabo no ofrase kora no a wontumi emo enkonkowie na ya to hope ya wono ɔkasa yi ɛn wɔse saa bere full gospel men fellowship a wɔn atete ne de ɛwɔ de ɔnya ne saa o mema didi wɔn ho nkɔmɔ ɛyɛ mema bia ya wɔn mahyia asɛm bi ha ɔnyɔnko anase ɔbrentia otu wɔn ho fo sɛ fa betu dwa ne emu a sanse yɛpɛ sɛ mema trase na odi nkyene otimi hwe wɔn busua ɛne wɔn bɔbra na afei ebusua ne nya anigye ɛne sire sanse bɛɛma ewu ntɛm a ama nkwadaa ɛne ebusua nyina atimi bɔ asasa ɛwɔ asase wei so
sɛ yɛka zero suicide for males na yɛpɛ dɛ yɛka dɛ za ɔhyɛ hene do biara no yɛmbɔ mmɔden dɛ yɛbɛka ho asɛm na mmenyifo honu wi a ɔbta bantam sen mesiafo ɔnam wiaza abrabɔ na atete nti no do wetwa muni anu mmenyifo a yɛwɔ asɔre nyinaa mu na yɛ mmenyifo ku yɛ taifa no men's fellowship wɔn he nyinaa yɛnyɛ adwene kor na abribiara national christian men yɛba frɛfrɛ no yɛmbra na adwenkyerɛ na nkasɛe biara wɔ hɔ no yɛmbra na yɛmbɛtie ɔbama he ntodo pii wɔ yɛn abrabom na
Afei yɛnto so na yɛnkɔyɛnim ɛwɔ nsɛm foforɔ mu na akimda nursing training na ɛwɔ hɔ principal ɛyɛ Owura Jones abɛkaba wɔde afotuo ato anersefoɔ anim sɛ ɛyɛ a wonya humaburo kakra ɛmfama ayafoɔ wɔsɛ uduru ayasabea na ehunu nurse ni bi sɛ de wasi asom na no esi hɔ no ne bufu afuo na wode oyade san bepi ne so na ne adwuma ode bedi wo enye adwuma ketoa enti ama nursefoɔ agidi mmɔne pa ɛwɔ my Ghana mu so nursefoɔ de mu ade wokoto nurse ni ne pa fia ketekete de adwuma ode bedi wo no ahwe abɛba fie kura na ayade no abɔ ho bɛ sempere wɔ ha ne akyire ne mom ɔsɛ nurse ni de adwumaso yɛ de ahyɛ won sa yɛ humoboro adwuma sɛ obi yɛde no aba na abenya humoboro de amasa nipa no mpo ɛmayade no mpo ɛsote kra
Principal Emma Achimoda Community Health Nursing Training School Ora Jones Abekaba Eda to just say nurse adwuma no adwuma bi a obuo ewo ho pa they say nti se wo ye nurse ni a se wo hye se wo bedi adwuma ye se beye na obuo etumi aba ho afa so wo mo a wo hye wo mo so no se wo hye se wo betere sa obuo nsa na amana so wo mo so eso osan so edi to just say abreni abrebia sa nurse fo ye adwuma wo hye se wo mo ebeda suba pai de se beye na apomode ho nsem no ebetumi akonanimu
anes fo na aba na bi wo ha sebi omuni suban akanes adwuma na ye ofre na se adwuma ni Ghana nsisi obi asori a na wa be hye na satade efutuo ni se omunya obuo omunya kasapa na omunya hofama fama adwuma no omunya obuo mamo ayarofo ene mo pelifo no be adwuma adwuma no se uni ahobrase ni obu a ontimi hu eyesa no adwuma eti obra ho ase a ana opani be kire wade na wo so watimi abe na asindi papa enti obuo ene kasade ene ahobrase a wo be hwe ayarofo titimi ye ma kwan fam kwaye practicals our hospitals best rob say o fo obuo ene esiye se ni adwuma tem adwuma ye kɔ ntem ene dressing oye amafade no eso bitimi hya atade ya kire wo se de wa hwa nkola no mo efefefe
oraba efa sa akwanya no so edade srede eto aban nanim se wo mesisi dormitories enfa emma akyerɛkyerɛfo a wo mo ewo school ho se beye na obenya baabi edi wonti ato afa so wo mo ehia school bus ne se nti aban namu na wo mpe school bus bi enfa emma wo mo se beye na wo mo ekoye clinical sa obetimi edi akɔ
hye na di mfihia aduasanan weka ho amaka sa ahye ho nsem mpen ahoro enan ni yeni ahye ana dan ya teacher for trim yesi yakwa ha metromas ne bonso odin so yetimi ntia enti yetukwan ya yebrepa yebekwa nkafo yakwa from place yakwa all the district itwa ye ho yakwa kodu dingo prampram ya idin kwala ko eti ahye eyade ehia yempa ana dan ya teacher for betin
eno achi ena anesifo ni bia wo mo ebo wo homode pa enso ene CTV ekasai
ya meka che me quality ne say obia emmo ne homode wa addition because we eya ni onya mo hye even if it's something small we eya ni onya mo hye e hye wo susu nkwan ma busu ade de mo
ya ba ye no o ma ye te ase se addition ne na for ma ye beto wo mo no but ye sinkete ka kire ye ho se said you been matimi making yes you betimi make it with determination no and abua me menle me so overall best student me so me insight me aka to make a sure ma for any nchima na eba ne say esa ne say you start you fi baby ni abedu baby ayedu ni enti na brabo na ye wo mu no said you tie bia you can make it enti wo yiro wo na wo bo wo modin a wo betimi make determination
Yento also na yenkoye ni mo nsem foforo mu na Deborah Queen panyimpa enam the summer as I grow NGO eba ye eno adwaiku a ensha bayanse na wo kyerese wuduru asase kokko ene ne mpotemu a emprewanyin sen ebu papa se de empe ebu no na nani abre pa se wo beka awofo ne mpanyifo a ewo asase kokko mpotem ho eho na wo makọ atia emprewanyin sen ne se sei no enkyerɛkyerɛ and what he frase.
What's what did ye pa when I come musa Jumedia ya one more ede a yanchre no a bit me a boa amampe one incense what a cry ewo a mantemu honomo nanada bradin semi eto Ctv Kasiebo enim wabana one nananama twankunya awofo ena fe emofrey bi ekasa ediafa empe one incense ehu wasanso ema won frey kwanya on betimi afaso atwe won ho ediafi sade no ho afenso wachire mu se eye national campaign no one more yes de beye na friend na betwe won ho ede fidie friend se empel wanyin sen no ehun sanse ewo ensunsanso bi a ede bebre wo mabrabo a dachi bia no wani enje ho enu nti en wodi dwumedie we no ehhehye so
o manga na mu a ade a mprempna be ye kura nkopa eye empel wanyin sen o hwe a eye men cop back to eye 2016 2020 yenya almost 555,000 girls are fire na o hwe wiase nyina yesi afibia no emia mprewa mofra wo fire funu 16 million. Out of the 16 million 5 million try so obey abortion. Out of the 5 million 3 million ya abortion no nti yeba eastern region so no eastern region yeka mantemu a mprewa nisa ato etisa yeka ho bi na bebia saa kranko efiase no eye yenkuru nkuma anim enti yeba ha so yehu se eno so yo how pa oyi eye mebu beye bia betumi nya beye be sia ana be numa se be won awo a eye mprewani sen enti yede to ye ho se as I go sani ayechi hwe se yebe ma awofo ene mebu adwea ba won ho so no enanso yebeba ha na ye ne eye kurumanfo na abekasa nti yeba ye kire kura efa mprewani sen ho kire nsunsanso a ewo mprewani sen ho sani yebe ya da hachi bi no yen mofra we ya won asiso no obetumi enya baby pa egina
eno achire awofo ni bi ene Ctv Kasiebo etwetwe enkomo a wode aseda piesie pa ekoma CEO awono ne da asaya agro NGO ano
yedamase ewo ntrechira amaba be ntrechire na yen awofo no nso se dia musika safa perwani sen ho ade kire yen obi wo pora na onim but ene dey amaba be kan ode atu ni tim edani tim pa se ene ma ti sasa media me baby rekoboni mu enti me so metu mi ho asi what said de ene sa company a ma ba ha tu mi ho asi wa ma be kire me so metu mi ho asi wo me kire me de ma obi ba so kra na mu baby so na me hwe na oha obi ma me so metu nya kire ni bi ama sa ni pa no wentini anko ha ma ye nya mfaso ewo ene de hye bi a ye hia no
ka kire wo nga se nyame hira wo bebre esu se yeba kromo ha yebe fi edwumadi na so no nipa bebre na aba na mmom mo mo ba yi ma ba ye ne a ebro obia edeso nti nyame hira mo papa na adeka kra ehia ye ne se efi ha ekokwa mo so ye ma menom ni ye sister nom won a wonye mo no anokware edi awoso ya na eye den emayen enti eno so mo behwe na maboa yen
Afia yenko dwedie ene sikasem Kasiebo emu na aban kontabu ni Professor Samuel Kobenanim ede atodwa se ye free September bosumi mu a ewra November bosumi no mu no inflation atiaba fompa
2023 stood at 35.2, which literally means that between October 2022 and October 2023, prices of goods and services went up by 35.2%. This rate of inflation, which signifies the third consecutive slowdown in the rate of inflation, is 2.9 percentage points lower than the rate that was recorded for September 2023, which had a rate of inflation of 38.1%. We disaggregate this rate of inflation from two perspectives: food and non-food inflation, and locally produced items and imported items. Between food and non-food inflation, food inflation was 44.8% for the month of October 2023, relative to 27.7% for non-food inflation for the same time, October 2023. The slowdown in food inflation is sharper as it decreased by 4.6 percentage points between September 2023 and October 2023, relative to the 1.6 percentage point drop for non-food inflation as it declined from 29.3% to 27.7% for the month of October 2023. From a locally produced item and in an imported item perspective, we recorded a 2.6 percentage point drop between inflation for imported items and inflation for locally produced items, with inflation for imported items 37.0% and inflation for locally produced items 34.4%. On a month-on-month basis, monthly rate of inflation for October 2023 stood at 0.6%, indicating that prices of goods and services between September 2023 and October 2023 went up by 0.6%. This indicates a 1.3 percentage percentage point drop between the rate that was recorded in September 2023, 1.96% relative to 0.6% for October 2023.
Afia yenko Somalia maino emwe na arahosema esie ene se nsubransa bia yiniti na nsan amedi nsuyira no wode pa ba Somalia maino mu sabra yekasai abamu mpanyefo abubu asese a kyerɛ sɛ nipa dodo awuo enam nsuyire no ɛyɛ aduasa baako.
Ensubrani a efrase eto Somalia man mu sabri enipa be yeduasa baako ene wato ananom wonse edwen na no na yeduono nkono ni nyina ne se kokoboko ma Somalia fo eye owubobusumi ni daye to so nkro ni mu se ensuo ni beto a ne beto ntodene esan se enfie be yo ha achibia no ensuo ni timitro ewo Somalia kro ni mu a enya asem ketwa sabri wudi wani kyire mu ewo ekro Hiran ya ni fifi hono eye gedo obana na fofam hono mu a ensuo na to a fre hini mibusumi ni mu ede bepem sabri na omo manfo ne se nipa pempem ene wo ho akire wo mo a abrante ba ko dada wis woni sentrofo twen komo no se abredie wo nkro Mogadishu mu no enya asem ketwo pro no adane abutu sanse nsuo no pam wo mu nyina amanfo adan wo nyuma ene kire se wo mpibia wo japade asaye sabre enipa beye opepepe ba ko ene akiripon sia ene wo mu nyina adane etuko kyerafo a ebre no so afamu awu enti sabre kokobo ene se enkopem eye bronya busumi ni mu anaso openimu abusumi ni mu no na enipa kora no esa wo akire ya wonso ho be kire wo mu no ebe ha adwene ye ba sabre odikata aba monten ya wo sra manfo ne sem we no etasi enfie oha bia na besi nti wonhwe ho ye na wo hu kwan befa so etutu anamo kuo ba ko ya ensha ba sen e kire se enipa pepepe aduonu num na wo ho akire wo mu asabre sika ya UN4 e de akose yemfa mo Somalia fo no sanse kom atie sikro num no eye million no opepepe aduonu num ene ye de beboa sanse we no enye onipa bia enfom so e yato yenchemo a free odomankoma na ho ene ode abramafo omugu akwan mu ya wo yenhihye aye niam sebe ya obesuso nsuo na no saa kopem se ebeto awie opedimu abusumi ne mu no wonya won ho na afi manfo ye obenya nkwa no wape baabi a wo mbegu na wo matimi ato abrabo no
ewie ha ene brema me kwan ma nwumre no nsia Kasiebo ya mede somo wo Ctv so no mede ne nyina esie ye fasada ema mpanyifo a ebo a ye chinchim fidie ne fruma ono ekeka ne oma bo ani ma Kasiedi mo asre piesie ye wonom dia owie no de so ame Afia Brempomaa Hine ena metena seje pene ye kenkan Kasiei ede ma wo nyame ya adoma ebrepem ye besan ehia na so sa bredi abusua ede nkra